Good afternoon. Today, we are proud to present to you Nite, the gateway to being yourself. And I actually want to start with a little story behind the inception of this idea. It started roughly 2 years ago when I was in second year of Esade, and I wanted to take out my girlfriends for dinner for a special occasion, our anniversary. So I started looking for sushi restaurants in Barcelona on Google, and despite the countless hours of research, I simply could not find the right place for the occasion. I was either getting results which were too expensive or too fancy, and I simply couldn't afford with the budget of a university student, or places which were too tacky and not special enough, such as all you can eat restaurants. So, after many hours of research and sweat, I gave up and I called some local friends that I had asking for their advice. We ended up going to a place which was nice, but it wasn't the special or unique atmosphere that I had wished for such an occasion. A couple of months later, discussing ideas with Sebastian and Quentin, I discovered that they shared the same reservation and thoughts about the going out industry, and more specifically, that sector which takes care of the reservations of restaurants, bars, clubs, or events in general. We decided that we wanted to find a solution for this, and this is how Nite was born. Today, I will take you through the problem solution fit and the market landscape. Then Sebastian will take over to talk about the solution, the technology behind it, and the business model. And finally, Quentin will conclude with financials, value and investment proposition, and the team. So, since hypothesizing about the problems of the going out industry, we carried out extensive market research to assess the root causes and the key dimensions. What we found out is that it all boils down to three critical issues. First of all, the limited options in terms of variety of going out. You yourself, as people who go out in a social context, will realize that most probably you end up going to the same 4 or 5 places, despite there being millions of offers every day. The second problem is the little reliability that is placed upon online reviews or online websites, such as Google or The Fork. This is also due to the nature of these businesses, which is profit maximizing, and hence discourages the user from thinking they have their own best benefit in mind. And finally, the disappointment, like the disappointment that I felt in bringing my girlfriend to a place that was not special enough. Despite the countless hours of searching, of sweat, and time invested in trying to find the right place, we discovered that users often end up disappointed with the vibe and the mood once they get there. So we decided to present you some of the most powerful insights that our market research drove. And it's staggering to see that over 90% of surveyed are often disappointed with the mood of the places. And nearly 90%, despite living in the city maybe from 2 or 3 years, would still like to discover more local places. It's clear that there is a need for a solution. We came up with a very simple yet efficient 3-step solution. First of all, use artificial intelligence and machine learning to provide customized suggestions for each individual user. Second, leverage friend suggestions, which are way more trusted than online reviews, as they have the best interests of the individual users in mind. And finally, provide the variety through a daily recommendation and global search feed that users so desperately need to escape the boredom of the routines we so easily fall into. In terms of market sizing, to provide an estimate, we'll take as reference Barcelona, which would be our city of launch as per our go-to strategy. Let's consider the metropolitan area and its surroundings with a population of around 6 million people. Out of these, 22% fall within our target age of 15 to 34, bringing it down to approximately 1.3 million. From our market research, we established that these individuals will go out at least 6 times per month for a total of 72 yearly out-of-home occasions, and bringing the total out-of-home occasions for our population of interest to 95 million. On average, these users will spend 20 euros per meal, bringing the value of these out-of-home occasions to nearly 2 billion. Considering that we plan to take between a 5 and a 10% cut on these reservations, that brings our average commission to a potential of 190 million. To understand how we could successfully penetrate such a profitable market, we analyzed the main competitors with the aim of determining what were the key dimensions that they were failing to target. Our analysis yielded very clear results. While some of them failed to provide unique experiences to users, with the likes of Airbnb increasingly starting to do so, what they all lacked was a customized search experience, meaning that they put their own revenue maximization dynamics ahead of the user's interest. What Nite aims to provide is exactly the opposite. We plan to put the user at the center of the experience. With this objective in mind, we started to work relentlessly, and we came up with a prototype version of the app that we want to develop. We're proud to present to you Nite.
In order to give you a clear idea of how our app works, we have designed an alpha prototype on Figma. When selecting the application on your phone, you will be redirected to the landing page. The simple design of the user interface will make the app easy to use and aesthetically appealing. If you go down, you will see the venues that the app recommends you considering your personality type, past experiences, and friend recommendations. Another feature is the dynamic map. Users can click on it and find places around them. In our example, a user can click on a club called Sutton, read the description, and then have the possibility to book. The star rating will be calculated by our algorithm by considering past experiences, personality types, and friends' opinions. And another critical feature of our app is the friends section. When clicked upon it, you can check your friends' profiles to see their past experiences and possibly find an experience that you will like. And now I will cover the technology behind our app, our recommender system. As previously mentioned, we will use a recommender system that will continue to provide more accurate recommendations to your individual needs by analyzing both your personality characteristics, the going out habits of your friends, past bookings and experiences. And the first step in developing the recommender system would be the creation of a questionnaire to score users out of each of the big 5 personality types. And this questionnaire will be answered by the users when using the app for the first time. The second step would be the ranking of venues by users with objective parameters, such as adjectives and ratings, to make worldwide comparison possible, as we intend to expand throughout Europe and potentially in other continents. The third step is finding a correlation between the personality groups and going out. Next step is to train a machine learning algorithm to predict and suggest venues that users would like. And this will happen by feeding the algorithm with more data, which is provided by the app users. And lastly, we'll use the information from users to improve suggestions and redefine the personality groups. So just to summarize it briefly, the various steps of developing an accurate recommender system are collecting the data, assigning the personalities, correlate the preferences, train the algorithm, and suggest plus improve. And our business model can be best explained by separating 4 important features. We're a personalized booking platform for consumers, which uses a recommender system and friend suggestions to generate bookings. We'll establish key partnerships with venues by driving their demand and generate revenues through commissions. And now Quentin will give you a better understanding of the financials behind our operations.
Let's look at our predicted income statement. With relatively low revenues in our first 2 years, we make a loss the first 2 operating years. We expect to be profitable in year 3 with a profit of around 800,000 euros. Given that cash is king for business, let's see the cash inflows and outflows for Nite. In year 3, we have a total free cash flow to the firm of over 1.1 million, which is a substantial amount. We have not included our balance sheet in this presentation as you wouldn't see the entries clearly. Please refer for this to our report. I, however, do want to comment that our predicted balance sheet in year 3 is very, very solid, with cash and banks representing 84% of our assets. Now that we have reviewed our financial statements, let me walk you through our predicted valuation. We have used 2 methods for valuing Nite, DCF and multiples. Let me start with the DCF. So concerning our DCF, we have decided to use a WACC of 17% since this mirrors the cost of capital for investors of a tech startup. Moving on to our multiples, it is very difficult to do an exact multiples valuation given that Nite's peer companies are mostly private and therefore do not share their financials publicly. For this reason, we have decided to take 3 ranges that correspond to Nite's industry and startup profile. Our predicted average valuation for Nite is of 17.5 million euros. With no previous track record of past operating years, an investor should obviously not base themselves exclusively on this valuation for the initial equity investment. The point here is to show the uphill potential of Nite in terms of valuation. As an initial investment, we are asking for 80,000 euros for 20% equity. So what is our value proposition? We aim to provide unique experiences and venues for individuals who want to go out in a social context that matches their identity and satisfies their personality needs, and at the same time, provide the best customers to our venues. We are a team of 3 individuals with different backgrounds and experiences, which makes us a well-rounded team. Thank you so much for your attention, and we hope you make a sound investment in Nite.